I'm going to share with you here opening prayer. All mothers and beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstacles who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and nations. May they experience happiness and be separate from suffering decisively. I raise religion in the still ones of us, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. All mothers and beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstacles who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and nations. May the experience happiness be separate from suffering decisively. I raise to reach the still ones of us, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. Dala dang varzibe da no varzibe ge torba dang dam je jembe varde ju varze ba dam je so zebe manam ka da nyambe zem je dam je dewa dang de dongara dang ra yurde lana me ba yang da varzo sanjo rumbo je do varza. Dasandra Jivain Lajime, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. We take refuge in the Kandaru Lama and the lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deity of the mandalas of Yadams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Ragas and darkness and the Dhamma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Under in the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and the likewise in the example of Bodhisattvas. As the Buddhas invested in enlightenment and the progress of the Bodhisattvas above, are true for the benefit of all sentient beings giving birth to Bodhicitta, and I apply myself to accomplish the stage of the path. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excelling, I take refuge under enlightenment's reach. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I drink Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mothers and sentient beings upon the less of the sky have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering, the causes of suffering. May they never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. I bow down respectfully with my body, speech, and faithful mind toward Tathagatas and the generations. Those who have already reached Tathagata state, those who are reaching the present, and those Tathagata state to come. Through the power of Samadhavara's prayers, may all Buddhas manifest within my mind. I posture to them, multiplying my body as many times as there are atoms of the earth. In each atom, I visualize as many Buddhas as there are atoms. Surrounded by countless Bodhisattvas, thus our space is filled with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I praise all Buddhas through manifesting, chanting, expressing the great ocean of the excellent qualities. To all Buddhas, I make offerings of arrows, pure flowers, flower garlands of music, anointing oils, manifesting light and fragrant incense. I make offering to the fine garment and the perfume and the purple for the high as the moon, meadow, and orange, the most beautiful way. I visualize the highest and most extensive offerings and offer them with great faith to all Buddhas. I posture to Buddhas and make offering to them following the deeds of the great Bodhisattva Samantabhara. I confess to you, Buddhas, whatever negative actions I have committed due to the power of anger, desire, and ignorance. I rejoice in the merit of our Buddhas and the 10 generations of great Bodhisattvas and the Pakika Buddhas, those have attained Aharasha, those have entered the path of Aharasha and all other beings. I request to all great protectors of Buddhas to turn the hearts to the of Dharmas, the light dispelling the darkness of beings in the 10 generations, letting them gradually to the enlightened states. I supplicate those Buddhas and angels pass into one trip living long fast in many eons, as they are thrown over the earth in order to benefit all beings. Whatever may I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying for the sake of enlightenment of Saint Jinpei, all these are dedicated. The ground is sprinkled with the scented water and the true flowers. It is adorned with the meadow of the spring mountain, the four containing sun and the moon. As the Buddha fell out for it, may all Saint Jinpei set in happiness as the Buddha fares. To the Lama who possesses the Tirikayas, I offer water in the sacred offerings, with my body where the red is visible. Please grant me supreme realization and enlightenment. Whatever may I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of enlightenment, words and Jinpei, all these are dedicated. Om Guru Rena Mandala Panzamanga Samandra Savarana Samaye Ahom. I go refuge on the Lord. Your friend provides the territory word. You are the way toward Yadara Vidova daughter. I avoid the feet of Father Jesus Ungo. Continue laughing with no one but you. Compassion the one grant your blessings. Dispel darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize and liberate nature of mine. Please turn the veil of Dharma of the true beggars and the combination according to this position likewise. The main dark capacity of Saint Gender beings. His wisdom revealed like the sun, free of clothes of true words and perceive the various steps of knowledge in the true nature. For this reason, he holds wisdom takes at his heart as a compassion. For beings who suffer from the darkness of ignorance and the perceiving of samsara as a father for only son. Like God under Kala, he awakens those who are sleeping in ignorance and losing of charm karma. Through the 60 branch of Haraman as his speech. He wears wisdom, silver to cast settle over suffering, to dispel darkness of confusion. And the Buddhist hour from his pure from beginningless time. Fully accomplished in the 10 levels and the perfect in the body of all knowledge. I supplicate you, magician, adorned by the 112 Son of Buddha, to dispel darkness of my ignorance. Om Arabasana, the Om Arabasana. Om Arabasana, the Om Arabasana, the Om Arabasana, the Arabasana, the Om Wangeshoram, Om Wangeshoram, Om Wangeshoram, Om Wangeshoram. Om Wangeshoram, Om Wangeshoram, Om Wangeshoram, Om Wangeshoram, Om Wangeshoram, Om Wangeshoram, Om. You are the perfect, beautiful body, whose plan opposite blesses, and the dispel darkness of orderly ignoring. Apostle before you the president Jeshire, you neglen Changwaibo, Yeshe Dom of the Bar, Jeden the Moment Sarwa, Yamba Yang La Zanzardo. Now we go to Vajrakilaya practice. Everyone has this book, right? Vajrakilaya. We go to the lineage prayer. Oh, pervasive Lord, King the Zambo, Dorjechi, Sochi Dorje, Lord King, the three supreme companions, the nine karmic sons, particularly Nanam Dorje, I supplicate you to clear away outer and the inner obstacles. Treasure river good Dorje, Guja Dentre, Ligdin Dorje. Nagawang po pema tung train tsar, lerab limba the pema wanjin, I supplicate you clear away water in the inner obstacles. King of Wrath, terrifying Vajra Kumara, the 10 Wrath for Herukas, Yavyong and the Sasu and the 4 gatekeepers, the 16 Kilayas, protectors and the 21 goddess. I supplicate you to clear away outer and inner obstacles. The outer mandala manifests as the symbolic matter Kalaya. The inner mandala is the perfect awakening of a channel and elements are the deities. The sacred mandala is the perfect expression of the waking mind. May the immense sense of persistent wisdom and awareness become manifest. Repeating. I job thy gain the zang thy dorje ji, soje dorje jembai don jo zo, jen bege je baran anan bar, sorwan de zo zenai bar je zor, goje den je le den dorje ja, nage wang bo be main jen le zar, Lera lena bema wanjela, sorwan de zozana barjezer, trowo yarbo jinze gomara, troje yayon zazu gomaye, perzo injero wanzom yerjela, sorwan de zozana barjezer, sejen zemai zeje purba Nanjir zagan laya nambar se, sanjir zangjo zemje zarzo de, yansang de le rebang onjur jo. Refuge in the Bodhicitta, in the deity, my own persisting wisdom and awareness. I take refuge in taking on liberating wayfaring beings. I generate mind of awakening, or the secret samaya pleasure of accomplishment of Vajrakilaya. I shall not forsake even at the cost of my life. Rang re la la ijab zenje, drogen drovare semje do, jin drove dam ze nam, so ge se yang me dong o. Rang re la la ijab zenje, drogen drovare semje do, par jin drove dam ze nam, so ge se yang me dong o. From within the state of emptiness, self-nature instinctively arises us. Glorious Vajrakilaya, king of wrath, he is blue, black in color, with one face, two hands, and rolling up Purva, and wearing the glorious wrath for channel grown contentment. Perched up in lotus, sun, moon, and mirror, and female Rudas, with his right leg bent and the left extended in the heroic existence. Lamanas presents within a blazing mass of promoter wisdom fire. All appearances are the deity, all resounding songs are the play of a mantra. All thoughts dwell within the clear light of Dharmata. Undistracted and free of grasping, recite the mantra. I don't le ranye ge. Parjen dorje yon jove jar, tenai jarje sanye purvecher, paradain tu jurorbe je je je, temanye dai rjai pome den, shamye je je dordai zorde yo, yishe me bom barve long nazar, Nawa tamje la ye dar, dra dra nga je ro ba shar, chen to wo zar chi nye nga, ma yin ze me nga de da, om ben za kala kala ya hong bei, 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 om ben za Legalaya home, Benza Galagalaya 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 home, Om benza gala gala ya om be 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 dong ge do ye sha ye rei zhen zhong yin zhen me do de ye bong zhen ba ser jie len bo da re ji be ge 小姐姐被下拉索完的多见长进的罗那罗当，马巴门拉姐姐干波巴， Amo Trupa Jarwa Indigombe, Kaju Lama Namla Izorwande, Romain Chije Yenge Bobrangni, Tizong Zanje Genje Ngowonye, Ransem Chike Ngozong Donzebe, Zave Lame Jala Zorwande. We go to the Vajrakilaya PowerPoint. So that's I don't remember which number we are. Anyone remember which number we are?
We're beginning on page 38, I believe, Kimberla.
Okay. Measurable compassion. So the moment you understand this, you see whatever appears in display of wisdom. The moment you understand, whatever appears liberate and transformed. So that part is 38 here. The moment you understand, use whatever appears in this. Correct, right? 38, did.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I have written down. Yeah.
So we are in the 38, right? No finish 38, yes?
Correct. Yeah, I wrote down we were beginning on page 38. Does that sound right, Michelle?
Well, I think we got all the way to 41, actually, because I have notes on 41. I think that's where we ended because Kempo said this is a Dzogchen technique of self-liberating one's emotions.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Michelle.
Hold on the anger, but immediately transform it within its own nature. This is Dzogchen technique of all liberating one's emotions. Okay, so here is sharing with 4 purpose. First one is a measurable compassion purpose. Actually, the point is compassion can transform or subdue our emotions. So compassion is true our inner level protection, especially when anger is the page 41 at the very moment when anger arises. So when anger arises, we neither pursue nor hold on to the anger. We don't hold in the anger, but immediately transform it within its own nature. This is the Dzogchen technique of self-liberating one's emotions. So here, the point is like 5 afflictive emotions transforming. And there we use different, method. A measurable compassion also can transform anger because immeasurable compassion arising in our own mind. So the immeasurable compassion cause is actually wisdom. Without wisdom, not possible arise immeasurable compassion. So we can have like conditional, condition compassion or dependent, like due to the cause condition compassion. We can generate a compassion, but true compassion is arising or cause is realized absolute true nature. So then I think that's the reason here says at the moment when anger arises, we neither pursue nor hold on to the anger, but immediately transform it within its own nature. Anger can transform to its own nature. Use this method, this Dzogchen technique of self-liberating one's emotion. When emotion arises, so we already talked many times, the Dzogchen teaching and the Mahamudra teachings. So we have to recognize our emotion or anger. Then when anger arises, immediately looking out into our own nature, Ripa. So that then anger is immediately transformed it within its own nature. So that's the not only anger, every situation, like, happiness and the suffering, whatever arising in our own mind. So we can is transforming into our own nature. So the point we have to recognize, whatever arising in our mind, we have to recognize, and then we have to looking into our own nature to meditate. So long as we meditate, look into own nature, meditate, so then anger, emotion, everything can transform. So that's called self-liberation, one's emotions. Otherwise, if we think that emotion substantially exists on one side, while its antidote substantially exists on the other side, and they are going to fight each other. So this, method is usually we in the Vajrakilaya teaching, Mahayana teachings, emotion and antidote is fighting each other. Is emotion needs solution. But Vajrayana tradition, especially this Dzogchen teaching, we don't look in solution. So you have to liberate itself. Anger liberate itself. And emotion itself, we have to liberate. Of course, self-liberation means finding solution for the emotions. So that's the difference. Usually we hear the Vajrayana teaching and the Mahayana tradition teaching. We always looking the solution. So of course we usually, when we share the teaching and what is the problem, what is the solution, that's the, it's always we, intellectually or investigating, and we practice it that way. But in this case, Mahamudra Dzogchen level practitioner, only is for meditator practitioners. So meditator practitioners are not looking solution something, just that problem itself liberating itself. Emotion is liberating itself. So that's why this is on the Dzogchen technique, self-liberated one's emotion. Otherwise, if we think that an emotion substantially exists on one side, while its antidote substantial exists on the other side, see, this become two contract each other, and they are going to fight each other. So they're fighting each other. So that's the, it's also we have to think about our individual level. So our feelings always fighting each other, positive feeling, negative feelings fighting each other. So when you practice Dharma, positive, spiritual feeling is a kind of a more growing and more powerful. And when you activity, worldly samsara activity, so then samsaric worldly negative emotions are more strong than spiritual feelings. They fight each other. But when we meditate, especially you're into your own natural mind, so that time is called Dzogchen practitioner. We can be either way. The point is generally your activities is kind of we are fighting our emotions and solution. Then when you meditate, you are really into nature state, meditate. That time, then really looking any solution, self-liberating. We can practice self-liberating ourselves. So this the followed by teaching level, Sutra tradition and Vajrayana tradition, but also in our daily situation. So when you're dealing with just samsaric activity or worldly activity, this all the time, this positive and negative feelings is fighting. Then when you meditate, so you are into your natural mind state. That time, then whatever thoughts, emotion arise, we can practice use self-liberating. So self-liberating is when you meditate, I think we can so follow this level practice, but generally very hard to follow the self-liberating. I don't know, do you understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. So we just think about our own situation, when meditating, like just doing, practicing other things, activity different, like spiritual or worldly activity, this always these emotions fighting. I mean the positive and the negative emotions, these two things fighting there. But then when you really meditate, is you can self-liberate all the emotions. Then we are engaging in a very dualistic way of thinking. So that's the dualistic thinking, fighting, they are going to fight each other, emotion and the solutions fighting each other. Then we are engaging in a very dualistic way of thinking. So then we say, this is a great, positive, or I like this practice, yeah. And I really don't like this, negativity, we don't like the anger, we don't like the desire. So all this two separate, positive and the negative. So that moment we are then dualistic way of thinking. So Mahamudra practice is beyond the dualistic thinking. So that's why even you practice, you have a dualistic thinking. I mean, you meditate Mahamudra, and long as you have a dualistic thinking, so then that practice cannot be Mahamudra. So Mahamudra is like beyond the dualistic thinking. Then also when we practice, we have like judgmental, we have all this good and bad, or this is really great, and the spiritual something object, or this is not good, it's a samsaric object, desire object. So that kind of auto level thinking, then that's also dualistic way thinking. And then inner level, you go to your positive feeling, negative feeling, judgmental, that's also dualistic thinking. So Mahamudra meditation bring equanimity, we don't rejecting negativity, we don't accepting negativity too. So that's the, like usually meditators, practitioner follow the practice. I think this meditator can do. In Buddhism, this is known as view of Hinayana. See, that's exactly here. If long as you have dualistic thinking, it's good and bad. So that is like view is like Hinayana thinking means we cannot point into the group of Hinayana. Long as you have dualistic thinking, we are Hinayana. And long as we looking solution something, and we don't want to our negativity and wanted to get rid of that, then that is dualistic thinking. That moment we are Hinayana practitioner. So this also like we have to look into ourselves, which level we are. We cannot say I am Vajrayana practitioner, I am Mahamudra practitioner. because can be this teaching practice is Mahamudra and Dzogchen, but where of our practice maybe can be Hinayana. So then some practice teaching is can be Hinayana, the person take to the Mahamudra, the person individual level practitioners, their practice can be taken to the Mahamudra level. So that's why everything is up to individual level according to capacity. View of Hinayana. According to the Vajrayana view of the Dzogchen teachings, the moment thoughts arise, it is liberate its own nature. So when thoughts arise, that's I think I share many times, like see Dzogchen way is when thoughts arise, looking to the Rigpa. Recognize thoughts, looking to in nature Rigpa and meditate in nature Rigpa. The thought is dissolved into the nature Rigpa. So that means thought is transformed. It's called Dharmakaya. Then Mahamudra usually thoughts arise like looking to the thoughts. Thought itself is also not exist. Thoughts, you see the thought is emptiness. And then you into the Mahamudra meditation. So see little different ways, but both are works correctly. I mean, it's go back to same again. The Dzogchen way is a little bit easy than Mahamudra way. So because you looking the thoughts, if you don't have ability, then you investigate the thoughts is then another thoughts arise. So then thoughts, so become you are stuck with the thoughts again. So the harder to liberate again. Someone who knows like practice meditated Mahamudra, then thoughts arise, then looking to thoughts itself is not exist, emptiness, and then go back into nature mind. So that's the way to practice, but very hard for the beginner practitioners, I think. Better just when thoughts arise, recognize thoughts and then looking into our own nature mind, being in the nature mind, then thoughts naturally release. So no need to investigate in thoughts. If you like to investigate the thoughts, if you have the ability, also great. The moment thoughts arise, it is liberate its own nature. We don't reject or acceptance. See, we don't accept the thoughts, we don't reject any thoughts. So that means rejecting is a Hinayana tradition. Like when you reject the thoughts, we are Hinayana, the point is. So you stop the thoughts. Accepting thoughts is we follow the thoughts. So the point is all samsaric beings accept the thoughts and the emotions. Then Hinayana tradition is rejecting thoughts. So the both are too extreme actually. That's why in Mahamudra practitioner, no rejecting, no acceptance. So think about, we accept the thoughts, emotions, beginningless time until no. So that's why we are samsara, we are in samsara. Then Hinayana practitioners rejecting thoughts. So that also can be like kind of another extreme, giving up everything, samsaric conditions, rejecting. So Mahamudra practitioner, no rejecting thoughts, emotions, let it rise thoughts, emotions. Use that for the source of wisdom and not to follow the thoughts, emotions, not let create negative karma. Use that thoughts, emotion, generate wisdom. So that's the difference. For example, the nature of anger is really in the continuous supreme awareness wisdom. The nature of anger, anger itself cannot be, awareness of wisdom, supreme awareness wisdom cannot be anger itself. But anger, here is talking about the nature of anger. Nature of anger means anger nature is emptiness. So anger itself is not exist. Self-liberating means anger itself is emptiness. So that's called anger is self-liberating. We don't have to find a solution, destroy our own anger. Let anger destroy itself. So that means like anger, you seeing anger, it is emptiness. Then that's called self-liberating. If you find a solution, something, stop drawing anger or let go anger, remove anger from your mind, then that's we don't call self-liberating. So you looking solutions like remove your anger, then you cannot. So in the Mahamudra way, you cannot create wisdom if you remove anger from your mind, and no using anger, it is self-liberating. So anger cannot create wisdom. Example, the garbage is you get rid of, you cannot recycling. So you have to not throw away and not get rid of, use that, you have to recycling again. So that's the example, Vajrayana teaching. Our emotion is for the source of wisdom, like our human beings and animals, like pops and urine, or like this piece, or this is for use for the crop, and create the organic food. So if you get rid of it, then you cannot use that. So that's the difference. That's why continuous spirit awareness wisdom. If you use anger, self-liberating, then it's spirit awareness wisdom. Anger itself cannot be is spirit wisdom. You have to recognize anger's nature is emptiness. Their wisdom is a klaya. So then what is Vajrakilaya? Vajrakilaya means is self-liberating. Anger is self-liberating. The form body is wrathful, arising. Showing this self-liberating, the form body symbolize meaning, showing the self-liberating. Perfect promoter, absolute Vajrakilaya. So then that is absolute truth, Vajrakilaya. Vajrakilaya is, we cannot think only just like kind of stage in the tanka, auto level, physical form, what we see. The Vajrakilaya means like self-liberating emotions. So anger self-liberated, that's why Vajrakilaya form body is wrathful. Vajrakilaya as Yab Yom, union, reason is self-liberating attachment and desires. So that's we have to understand what means like true Vajrakilaya. So when you self-liberating yourself, your emotions, you are Vajrakilaya. In which anger is completely destroyed. This completely destroyed means like not destroying, like using some, solution, antidote. So seeing itself is emptiness, not exist. So that's truly destroyed means. Destroy means. When anger is transmuted into mirror-like wisdom, so that's the core, anger transformed to the mirror-like wisdom. At that moment, the harem completely disappears. Then that moment is like we have to think about. When anger disappears in your mind, that moment harems not exist. You are free from So anger's suffering. This one we can think just, generally anger is a cause of harems. Anger creates the harems. Anger's perception is harems generally, but specifically, anger is long as anger is in within your mind. We are in the harems, where anger torture us. That moment we are harem suffering. We can say we are harems, and you use this practice, self-liberating anger. The moment you are liberated, you are Buddha. So that's we can, think about generally and specifically. Even the notion of the harem is completely absent from one's awareness. So anger is completely destroyed or self-liberating within your mind. You are then completely absent from one's, means like harem is completely absent from one's awareness. Harem is not exist for you, for us. By applying the same technique to attachment, so then that's, what we explain anger, the technique or method is followed by example, also same is attachment. The moment attachment arises, it is transmuted into discriminating awareness wisdom. And the unhungry ghost realm ceases to exist. So same, attachment arises, it is transmitted, recognize, desire, attachment itself is emptiness. Then that wisdom is called discriminating awareness wisdom. It's very beautiful. So think about what means wisdom. Wisdom means when attachment arises in your mind, you recognize, you seeing the attachment itself is emptiness. So attachment, it transforms or, into the nature Ripa or nature mind, then that mind is called wisdom, is discriminating awareness wisdom. So that's why 5 wisdom is associated with the 5 afflictive emotions. When anger comes, you seeing anger is no exist. Anger is transformed into your nature Ripa. Then wisdom is called mirror-like wisdom. Then here is the attachment, desire arise, so transmitted into discriminating awareness wisdom. So then, and the hungry ghost realm ceases to exist. Hungry ghost realms no exist. So now that means like attachment perception is a hungry ghost. So when we have a strong desire, attachment, so that moment actually we are hungry ghost. Then this discriminating wisdom awareness arise. So we seeing our attachments not exist at that moment. We are then Buddha Amitabha, and we have wisdom, so we can say we are Buddha. Then ignorance is transmitted within the continuous supreme awareness. Dharma, the wisdom arises. Ignorance is hard to point one, ignoring means. Because what means ignorance is sometimes very hard to point in one. But ignorance, the means like we don't recognize what is right, what is wrong. Due to ignorance, all sentient, think about all sentient beings want happiness. No one wants suffering. we chasing happiness create the causes of suffering. So that is ignorance. So then ignoring transmitted. So ignoring arise means like sometimes we very hard to point which way arising means ignoring. So not knowing something, then that's really hard to transmit it. That's why hardest is ignorance. Anger is very strong emotion, but easily transmitted or transformed because easily recognized. Then attachment also strong negative, but not that hard to recognize. We have strong desire, attachment, we recognize. The ignoring is specifically very hard to recognize because all samsara is based on the ignorance. Everything what we're doing is, like even all the dualistic thinking, everything is ignorance. So that's why it's harder to recognize, harder to transmit it. So then how to this transmit it? We have to create wisdom. So ignorance solution is wisdom. Then wisdom, which way wisdom? Also, they have so many different levels. Gaining the knowledge and understanding the cause and the effect. So what is right, what is wrong? And that's all, we listening, teaching, and practice, meditate. It's all this gaining or creating wisdom. So that's all is every practice is also introduced to our ignorance. Then, when we are into the natural mind, the known door, so then that is the truly, called Dharma Dharma wisdom. This Mahamudra Dzogchen level, Dharma Dharma wisdom means like not deluded. Or delusion is ignorance. So when you are into the Dharma Dharma or no door states, when you meditate, you can, turn off subject into object. So you just into your own natural ripa, own natural mind. So that is called Dharma Dharma wisdom. So then that is the absolutely transformed ignorance. Because you are into the natural ripa, you are into the natural mind, create deluded, So that is opposite side of the delusion. So delusion is transformed, right? So the highest level, that's why Dharma Dharma wisdom is introduced to, or ignoring is transforming. And so then that is the animal realm despairs. So where is animal realm is come from? Relatively, animal realm is arising or projection is ignorance. Ignorance perception. That's relatively, right? And absolutely, what means, ignoring means delusion. So who deluded, then that is the same as animal. Animal is representative, no recognizing what is right, what is wrong. So we don't recognize what is right, what is wrong. We create causes of suffering ourselves. Actually, that moment we are same as animal. Suffering, that's go to specifically, we can think about ourselves. In the same way, the pra is transformed into the wisdom of equanimity. Pra is transformed to the equanimity wisdom. The God realm despairs. Relatively, the God realm is projecting or emanation or appearance, the pride appearance of the is God realm. The relatively truly, when we have jealousy, then we have God realms perceptions. When we have a pride, pride sort of transform into the wisdom or economic. So the God realm disperses. When jealousy arises as the continuous supreme awareness, the absolute Vajrakilaya, as the continuous supreme awareness, the absolute Vajrakilaya, then the Asura or demon God realm is destroyed and the jealousy become or accomplishing wisdom. With regard to the human realm of doubts, generally human beings have a lot of doubt, which is a mixture of wisdom and ignorance. So then this sixth round, we talk about the sixth round, the associated with this five afflictive emotion, different realms, but human being is a mixture. So they have an ignorance, they have a doubt, so all this kind of together. That's why with regard to the human realm of doubt, generally human beings have lots of doubt, which is mixture of wisdom and ignorance. Most of the time, doubt is an obstacle to your growth and makes realization difficult. So that makes it very hard to get realization. When your doubts arise, if you transmit it then into supreme absolute Vajrakilaya, when you have accomplished all five wisdoms, at that moment the human realm no longer exists for you. The Purva or Kilaya has a very sharp pointed. It's very powerful and very accurate. When you use it, it transmit your emotion into pro-modal absolute Vajrakilaya state. So the Purva or Kilaya, so we have a Purva symbolize, Purva as very sharp point. So that is very powerful, very accurate. Same is just Purva is like Vajra. The Vajra Yogin is Trigon knife or Vajra. Some peaceful Buddhas holding Vajra, and the Rath for Vajrakilaya holding the Kilaya. So all this meaning is the same. So when you use it to transmit your emotion into the pro-modal absolute Vajrakilaya state, you immediately liberate all sentient being into the wisdom of enlightenment. This aspect of Vajrakilaya practice is called the Purva of infinite compassion. So right now we are in the first Purva, first Vajrakilaya. First Vajrakilaya is called the Purva of infinite compassion. So compassion, liberating many beings. The way use the compassion, liberating other beings. So that is called Purva of infinite compassion. Called the Vajrakilaya practice is called the Purva of infinite compassion. That's the first Purva. So here, followed by first, second, third, and fourth different levels Purva. But each Purva has all these activities, benefit. Even each Purva has all this completely grown path, result, everything. There, in the each practice teaching. So that's why it's come back very similar. These teachings, each Purva explain, focus like kind of different symbolized meanings, but essence is very similar again. Because the point is this: each Purva subduing 5 afflictive emotions. So using different method ways. So it's the second one, the symbolic substantial Purva. This actually can be like, ultra level Purva. So ultra level Purva is a Vajrakilaya form body. And Purva, like we have these symbols. There has a golden Purva, Nor Sangja, Nor Ser, Nor Ja Sang. Golden Purva, and then silver Purva, created by matter, I think like Ja is matter Purva, and copper. So they're made by 4 different, materials. That symbolizes 4 different activities. So also practitioners, create 4 different activities. Then when we create the Vajrakilaya mandala, so we need these 4 Purbas, different kind of 4 Purbas, put 4 different directions. So then that symbolizes like also subduing these emotions and create 4 activity, accomplishment, I think. So that's the reason this is symbol like substantial Purva. The second Purva is the Tsema Zeja Purva. Tsema Zeja Purva means symbol like substantial Purva. Tibetan is called Tsema Zeja Purva, means you have object. So not only like we're talking about the wisdom and the compassion, like you have physically object, can show for the symbolize. That's called symbol like substantial Purva. Tsema can be translated as a symbol or characteristic. So here is a Tibetan called Tsema Zeja Purva, means what means Tsema? Tsema means like characteristic or symbolize. What is a symbolize? Quality, inner quality symbolize physical form. This means that all phenomena that appear have the characteristic of Purva. So what this means, when we visualize, all form bodies, Buddha's form, right? And in the just practice, we chant the prayer. In the mantra Galing, they talk about all this form is enlightening form body, visualize. Same, all this phenomena form is transformed to the symbol like this substantial Purva, visualizing. So we visualize all this phenomena is symbol like substantial Purva. Then also this every phenomena has this kind of like symbol like meanings. Every object has this symbolic, substantial Purva. All phenomena that appear have a characteristic of Purva. See, whether or not we recognize it, maybe you whether recognize, maybe we whether not recognize it. All things, mountains, trees, water, river, oneself, have the nature of a Purva. So why this mountain, tree, and water, river has oneself is have the nature of Purva? Because everything is very sharp and also pointed. sharp and pointed. That's why it's called it's a symbolized substantial pruva, or phenomena is a symbolized substantial pruva. The mountain is also very sharp and also have a pointing, pointed. Tree also have a sharp and pointed. That's why we call have characteristic of pruva, nature of the pruva. In essence, everything is in the pointed, sharp of the purva. See, this is the purva image. You have the symbols there. For example, the human body is like a purva. If you put your hands together and sit with your legs together, you have a head and leg together, then your arm part, like middle part of body is like more bigger than your lower part of body. So that's why it's human body is like a pruva if you put your hand together and sit with your legs together. The lower part of your body is more pointed and the upper part is a little wider. Also, each of your fingers has the shape of the pruva. See, each finger has a shape of a pruva, means like pointed. And finger tip is more sharper than, like middle of the finger. Then other examples are the shapes of birds, beads, and claws. All beings, including animal, are within the purva state. So this, even birds flying, like heads and bottom and wing, everyone has a shape. They all has a shapes. It's a purva shape. So that's we transform, actually recognize all this phenomena is the symbolism. Here is we're talking about symbol like substantial pruva. Every has all this phenomena has that shape and transform to that kind, visualize. The external world also has the nature of the purva. The world also has the nature of the purva. When you look at the trees, the overall shape points upwards, and each leaf is pointed. In terms of the 5 elements, when water freezes into ice in winter, it shows its pointed formation. Fire points upwards as it is burns. So water also become ice, shows this Purbas, shape. And also fire also shows like this pointed shape when it is blows towards you. Fire points upwards, it burns, although you cannot see one wing, it feels sharp when it blows towards you. So that means like all this element has the Purva's nature. In the Abhidhamma teaching, the shapes of the element are discussed, and the wing is said to have the shape of a half moon or bow, which has pointed at each end. The shape of the element are discussed, and the wing is said to have the shape. So wing also has shape of half moon or bow, which has pointed at each end. As for space, some Buddhist teachings say that space has the shape of 1,000 spots, but generally space is divided by objects. When one looks at mountain, for example, the space around them lobes pointed. Phenomena naturally manifest in this way. So all these phenomena is naturally become manifesting the Purba, Kilaya, in this way. Therefore, the Kilaya Tantra states that the entire universe is the symbolic substantial Purva. So every object is become substantial, symbolized Purva. Substantial Purva, every phenomena, object. Of course, there are also the Purva which did not develop naturally. So we create, people create a Purva, and that is not naturally rising, but we create, but have been made to show the naturally existing Purvas more clearly. The created have a similar structure or shape, but they have different qualities, stars, and designs. So this also has kind of different ways like create. Some create Purvas have the head of Vajrakilaya. So this one has a head of Vajrakilaya with either one face or three faces at the top. The three faces on the top part of the Purva outwardly symbolize three kayas. So it's the same as Yadam deity has three heads. Inwardly, Vajrakilaya, three faces represent the three channels of the body. So we have three channels in our body. So that's symbolized inner level, inwardly. In terms of the practice or application, the three faces represent the ground, path, and the result. So sometimes like these three faces is represented our practice. Our practice, like when we practice Vajrakilaya, is followed by ground, the path, and the result. So that's the reason this three faces too. Actually, three faces is one Purva, one. So the ground, path, result is three, but actually one, not separate. At the very top of the Purva is a hub of Vajra, which symbolizes the changeless nature of awareness wisdom. So that representative is nature, Ripa, nature, mind, changeless nature of awareness wisdom. All aspects symbolized by the three faces are inseparable from the indestructible nature of awareness. The three faces are inseparable. The three faces is not separate, inseparable from the indestructible nature of awareness. The top of Purva symbolizes the state of enlightenment. Below the face is a Dichadron, right? Decadron, a sphere with 10 feet size. It is like an octagon, but there are top and bottom sides as well. So what is it, that one? It's Decadron is in this
10 sides.
10 sides.
10 sides.
Octagon is 8 sides.
8 different sides.
Yeah. A
Sides.
sphere has 10 sides.
I see. Okay, so we can see this one. Decadron, a sphere with the 10 feet size. It is like an octagon.
Octagon has 8 sides.
8 sides, okay. But there are top and bottom sides as well. Then the 10 sides symbolize the 10 wrathful deities of Vajrakilaya, they are mentioned in the large Vajrakilaya sadhanas. So they talk about the 10 wrath for Kalaya. We have Tanka, sometimes there shows up 10 wrath for retinues, Vajrakilaya. So that symbolizes meanings. The Decathlon, right, as a whole represent the entire universe or the pure land where the Buddhas reside. So that shows like whole universe, like whole Buddhas mandala reside. In the center of the Decathlon is Vajrakilaya with his concert. With like Yam and the Yom representatives. Surrounding them are the 5 sons or princes of the Vajrakilaya. So this point is this symbolized Vajrakilaya is samsara nirvana, all is in the one. And then mandala means all Vajrakilaya, his retinues, 10 wrathful, and the Yam and the Yom. And then all other, like their gatekeepers and there has protectors. Everyone is included in this one of Vajrakilaya. It's like universal. It's Buddha's like one pure lane. Everything is in there within one. That's why surrounding them are the 5 sons or princes of Vajrakilaya. The 10 wrathful deities, the 21 mamos, and the 16 dharmapalas, all of them residing within the Decathlon, which is like a vast palace. See, it's the same as a palace. So this is represented with the Vajrakilaya palace. And in the palace, then, not. So in the palace, a king, and then all this, his king's retinue be there. Same is like this is the palace of Vajrakilaya, and all the Vajrakilaya's retinue, everything is included there. Some Purbas do not have the half Vajra and face, but simple have a small top and then the Decathlon. So that is dependent, some Vajrakilaya, this didn't show these 3 faces. On both star below the Decathlon is a handle decorated with lotus petals. The lotus is the symbol of love and compassion, actively manifesting as the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. So this Purva has like showing the lotus. The lotus, so it's represented with love and compassion. So that the point is, I think this all the Vajrakilaya, mandala is arising from the love, compassion, bodhicitta sources. Love and compassion actively manifest as the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. Then below the handle is another Decathlon, which symbolizes Vajrakilaya's retinue as well as the Dharmapalas. So below is a representative, is Dharmapalas. Below that, some Purbas have a crocodile mouth. But all Purva end with 3 blades that meet in a pointed. That's all the Purva has and the below. So generally, the Purva symbolizes that the samsara and the nirvana are united in the one single nature. So samsara and nirvana is not separate, it's united in the one single nature. So the top part of the Purva from the half Vajra through the lower Dichiron, the top part of the Purva from the half Vajra. Through the lower Dichiron represents nirvana or the pureling or wisdom. The part below the hinder beginning with the crocodile mouth represents samsara. So this upper part of Purva is representative, nirvana and enlightenment, and the lower part of Purva is representative actually samsara. Then it's become joined together. Is actually is one. Is samsara nirvana is one and inseparable. Crowder mouth represents samsara. On the atomic level, samsara and nirvana are not different. When one understands the nature of samsara, that understanding itself is nirvana. So that's the essence of the teaching, because we follow by symbolize, then always also that according to different teachings, sharing, giving you information, little differences. This is followed by symbol auto level. This is the Shapurva, according to different sadhana, giving little different ways informations, different symbolize according to practitioners, they're recognizing. But the point, this Purva essence is samsara and nirvana are not different. Temporarily, relatively different, but truly samsara nirvana is one. So if you get rid of samsara, then get rid of nirvana. So we have to discover nirvana is within samsara. Then this also same is like what I talked before. Generally, samsara nirvana, and specifically we go to samsara and nirvana. Generally, samsara nirvana, we say, okay, cyclic existing, all these beings is in samsara. Due to the afflictive emotion, karma, taking birth again and again, we are in samsara, generally. So specifically, each moment we deluded, we are in samsara. And you are into your own natural mind, non-draw states, that moments we are nirvana. So then samsara nirvana is everything is our own, individual, how to say, each moment, which way we facing, right? If we deluded, then we are in samsara. That we recognize it as deluded. Deluded is transformed into the non-draw. So then we are in the nirvana. Actually, that nirvana can become when deluded is a samsara, is non-draw is a nirvana. There's only one, no separate. So you cannot be like one moment deluded and non-draw together, right? If you have that ability, then samsara nirvana is separate, because each moment have a separate, right? So samsara nirvana is one means, think about, you cannot do two things one moment, deluded and non-draw together, cannot be together, right? So that's why samsara nirvana is one. If the samsara nirvana is separate, each moment you have both together. So samsara nirvana cannot be separate, because the reason is each moment we cannot be both, deluded and non-draw. So that's why samsara and nirvana are not different. When one understands the nature of samsara, means nature of samsara is emptiness. It's non-draw. So that understanding itself is called nirvana. We don't recognize the nature of samsara is emptiness. So nature of samsara is we, deluded. We recognize its truth exists, then we are in samsara. So that's why it's samsara nirvana is one means it's dependent, how we handle or understanding. On the relative level, the compassion, loving, kindness, and wisdom, or Vajrakilaya and realized beings are always with samsara. So the relatively samsara nirvana cannot be one. Absolutely samsara nirvana is one, means samsara nature is nirvana. Relatively on the relative level, the compassion, loving kindness, wisdom of Vajrakilaya. So that's is Vajrakilaya, and realized beings are always with samsara. Realized beings are always with samsara. So I don't understand clearly what they're talking about this. I think relatively, if I don't misunderstand wrong, relatively compassion and wisdom. So that is like we can say Vajrakilaya. Means like could be when compassion, wisdom arise in your mind, and that person can be Vajrakilaya, relatively. So that is the Vajrakilaya quality inner level, and the relatively. So then that beings is in the samsara. So you Vajrakilaya realize beings are always with samsara means, the samsara. So this one has like different ways, like, okay, the relative level, the compassion, loving kindness, and wisdom of Vajrakilaya. So that is Vajrakilaya. And realize beings are always with samsara. I think what means really realize beings always with samsara?
The compassion are always with us. I think that on the relative level, so in duality, the compassion, the loving kindness, and the wisdom of Vajrakilaya and other realized beings occur within samsara.
Yeah.
We experience
Always.
their compassion, loving kindness
Compassion for
within the cycle.
within like in the state samsara.
Does that make sense? Yes. Never did that.
Yeah. So realize the beings are always with samsara. That means like realizers actually for think about realizers within always samsara means actually samsara is nirvana. Nirvana is samsara, not separate. So realizer is actually always with our perception. Actually, we say realizer is always in nirvana, but the nirvana is samsara. So can be always in samsara too. So I think the point is like when you realize, and that nirvana is discovering by in this within in samsara, not somewhere else. Make sense or not? Do you understand?
It means that they never leave others behind.
They never leave behind others. Yeah, that's also through the wisdom, compassion, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they not leave up behind everyone. The crow, quarter, mouth symbolize the compassion of the bodhisattvas and the realized beings. I say this crow quarter is a crocodile is like compassion, bodhicitta, symbolized beings. They never release themselves from samsara. Or so that's the point, you know. They never really release themselves from samsara, and then they never leave other behind. Okay, so that's the explain. The crowder mouth symbolize compassion as the connecting point between nirvana and the samsara. The area below the hinder symbolize the three realms. The highest and the most expensive is the realm of the formless gods. The highest and most expensive is the realm of the formless gods. Next is the realm of the gods of form, and the lowest. And the smaller is the desire realm, which contain both gods and humans. The humans is similar than the gods area. The highest the realm, the more expensive it is. This also applies to the Purva states. So now there are below the handles symbolize the three realms. Three realms below the handle. So this three realm is a formless realm. Usually we talk about formless realm and the form realms and the desire realms. So now here, you know, you understand the realm of the formless gods. The gods has many levels. So highest realm, God's realm is called formless gods, because there's no desire to the form body. And they are no still free from samsara. That's why take birth in the formless realms, no suffering, same as us. So kind of they don't have mara of form body, you know, they don't attach to the forms. That's why they reach to the formless realm. Realm of the formless gods. Next is the realm of the gods of form and the lowest. Then form realms. So form realm has Zukam Neri. It's 17 levels. This form realms, God's realm has 17 different levels. Then form and the lowest and the smallest is the desire realm, which contain both God and the humans. Then God's realm also has like desire God realm, and the human realm is like also desire realm. So that's why, you know, this three realm means first two is divided by God's realm, formless realm and the form realms. Then God's realm also has a desire realms too. So then human realms, other lower realm, or is a desire realm. So due to desire, you know, taking birth. This part explained very detailed, followed by the Abhidhamma teachings. So when I studied Abhidhamma, it's a really long time ago. I forget all the details. So think about the local here. The God's realm is, we usually talk about the God realm suffering is kind of more, you know, desire God realm suffering. You know, who has a pride, and due to that, you know, when they die, you know, then they lose all the power and become the lonely and so much change, like suffering for the death. So that is for the desire God's realms. I think, you know, the form realm gods and the formless realm gods is they don't have the 6 realms, same as suffering, but they are still not liberated. So if I could be wrong, but my understand, you know, I don't remember clearly. So thing, that way is easy for we understand. Because formless realm is, they have a very high level meditation, shamatha practice. So they don't have attachment, same as us. And that's why they don't stuck with the physical form. Physical form is like, think about it, we talk about last weeks, we share about the 4 maras, mara of form body. Could be they don't have this mara of form body subtle, the gross level suffering. There can be have a subtle level, but mara of form body, no gross level. Then talk about mara of afflictive emotion. They don't have a gross level mara of afflictive emotions. Can be a very subtle level. So that's why this mara, 4 maras, I think this higher, the formless gods and form realm gods is less. Could be especially formless realm is like only subtle level, I think so. Then God form realms has a little more, no same is like formless realm, but still there also less desire, and same is like us, like gross level they don't have. So that's why formless realm and form realms is different. So we talk about 6 realms, samsaric suffering is starting from God's realm is like desire gods. Then desire human beings, desire all these samsaric beings. So that's why in this Vajrakilaya symbolizes the top 2 enlightened beings and the below all the samsaric beings together. Then samsara, part of samsara, but this God's realm is, but there are no suffering, cyclic existence, like same is desire beings. That's why I see here is the formless gods, and the next is the realm of the gods, form and the lowest, and the smaller is the desire realm, which contain both gods and humans. The human area is similar than the gods area. The higher the realm, the more expensive it is. This also applies to the Purbas states. So that means all this, everything is symbolized there. The way to transform the deluded state of samsara into undiluted state of nirvana is symbolized by the 3 blades of the dagger. So now the way to transform means like this sharp point is transforming the deluded state of samsara into the undiluted. So this is sharp pointing. Same is the thing about Vajra Yogini, to go knife cutting thoughts, emotions, samsara is cutting, right? So that's representative is to go knife. Same, this purpose is also destroying. Sharp pointing is destroying. What is destroying is, transforming this deluded state of samsara into the undiluted state of nirvana. Is symbolized by the 3 blades of the dagger. The 3 sides dagger has many symbolized meanings. So then this 3 has so many symbolized meanings. So one cannot, share the example everything. These 3 sides is. We also talked this sharp point is also whole universe and all sentient beings. Every phenomena symbolize meaning too. For instance, the nature of samsara is no other than the fueling of the 3 kayas. Samsara is no other than means samsara is nirvana. Samsara is no other than fueling of the 3 kayas. So you take out the samsara, you cannot find the nirvana. samsara essence is nirvana, because samsara essence is no exist, it's emptiness. So that is called nirvana. Then we don't recognize that it's deluded, then it's called samsara. There's also Mayamika teaching talk about the true truth is inseparable. You know, true truth is inseparable. So think about relative truth is another way explain Mayamika teachings. Relative truth means seeing form is relative truth. So form itself is emptiness is called absolute truth. So you cannot create a separate. That's why, you know, Heart Sutra said, form is emptiness, emptiness is form is no other than emptiness. Same, you know, samsara is nirvana, nirvana is samsara, samsara is no other than nirvana, nirvana is no other than samsara. So we're seeing this form is called relative, our eye seeing form is a relative truth. So that is our perception. Samsaric being perception. And Mayamika meditators seeing form is emptiness. So that is absolute truth. Then we seeing is form is samsara, relative truth. Realizes seeing form is emptiness is nirvana. So then forms, our seeing form and realizes seeing emptiness is inseparable, no separate, no different object. It's one object. That's why it's called inseparable. So the nature of samsara is no other than the pure lane of the Trikayas. By understanding the supreme nature of Vajrakilaya, the three realms can be transmitted into Trikayas. So this talk about the three realms can be transmitted into the Trikayas. Trikayas, so Dharmakaya, Nirmanakaya, Sambhonakaya, is transformed into Trikayas, three realms. In the terms of the view, the three bodies symbolize the quality of the three doors of the liberation. So now we're talking about this Vajrakilaya, this symbolized as Purbas has, how to say, the three
Doors.
No, this symbolizes three blood of the three daggers, right? D-A-G-G.
Blades.
Huh?
Blades.
Dagger, yeah.
Oh.
The three sides daggers. Yeah. Okay, so that's the explain. Three daggers. Three bloods symbolize the quality of the three doors of liberation. Three doors of liberation. Three doors of liberation can be body, speech, mind, I think. Not having characteristic, or I say three doors of liberation is not having characteristic. Being beyond expressions. Expectations. And having the nature of emptiness. So this is the usually we call three avenues or something, you know. Three avenues or each one has these three characteristics. Each one object has these three characteristics. This I explain very perfectly. I can say very perfectly good way explain in the stage of meditation book. I have this explain. Part of the Vipassana section. I think so, Vipassana section or generation stage. Where I explain this three, I think it's a generation stage has this explanation. So, you know, not having characteristic means like each object, no characteristic. Because you investigate, you cannot find a characteristic, anything. Being beyond expressions, like it's cannot put labels. Just, you know, it's reality, like, you put labels beyond expression. And having nature, and nature is emptiness. That's the reason it's beyond expression, it's beyond the characteristic, because it's nature of emptiness. So that's three doors of liberation. Means each object, everything, all beings has three liberations. This is the basic view of the continuous supreme awareness. The cause or basis has no characteristic, or it's explained here. This is the basic view of the continuous supreme awareness. This part is very important when we learn the Mayamika teaching. So these three, kind of logic or avenue. Sometimes we say avenue, something I think they explain. The understanding emptiness, everything. So that's why it's a basic view of continuous supreme awareness. The first, the cause or basis has no characteristic. Or this object has, no cause or basic has no characteristic, because you investigate it's not truly exist there. So that's why basic has no characteristic. That is investigate is the investigation every object's cause. Cause is not exist. The cause has basis has no characteristic. The cause is not exist, and then fruition or result is beyond expressions. The result is no exist. Fruit is develop. First one is like investigating cause. Second one is investigation to the result, beyond expressions. So there is identity or nature is emptiness. So that is investigate the identity or nature, characteristic is emptiness. I think you understand. So we can, if you don't understand clearly, we can go to the stage of meditation. I have this explains. So this the point is like each object we investigate the cause and the result and also nature. So you investigate, then that is not truly exist. It's emptiness. Point is identity, nature is emptiness. As they are without a characteristic or expectations. Cause and effect are both within emptiness. See, the cause and the effect both are nature of emptiness. That's why no characteristic. The entire universe is always beside or beside on great emptiness. Entire universe is always beside on great emptiness. All universe is emptiness. The three blades also symbolize where to perform activities. So now this the sharp purpose, this three blades is represented with this emptiness, three emptiness. That's why now you can use this for liberation object, because its essence of symbolize is emptiness. Symbolize the way to perform activity. Perform activities like when we practice Vajrakilaya, then we use this symbolize material, symbolize object is for performing. Performing, like you use that, visualize, meditate, and subduing, negative beings and liberating other beings. So use this object. When the Purba is used, it is always hindered as an act of compassion. So think about when you use this Purba, the person must have to have a compassion and also recognize its emptiness. Truly, everything is emptiness, not exist. Then you can performing this Vajrakilaya, this subduing, liberating, performing, you using, then that has a very powerful and also beneficial too. Without the, this recognizing three liberation and without the compassion, then just, sometimes using this Vajrakilaya, this three blessings symbolize that not that powerful. Object is not that power, right? It's essence, meaning, and who using the person. So their person must have to have this kind of, compassion and understanding emptiness, that quality. Then Purbas who use is very powerful. There are three types of compassion. So then comes many compassions. I think we explain tomorrow. So please remind that we stop in the 89. So go to the Vajrakilaya sadhana. Om Vajrakilaya Hombe, 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 Om Vajrakilaya. Om Vajrakilaya Hombe, Om Vajrakilaya Hombe, Om Vajrakilaya Hombe, Om Vajrakilaya Hombe, Om Vajrakilaya Hombe. Om Vajrakilaya Hombe, 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 Om Vajrakilaya Hombe. Om Vajrakilaya Hombe, page 11. The sky blue of molten azurite exhausting in your youthfulness. The strands of your blood color hair hanging below you light of wear. With one face and two hands, the right holding to go chipper, while the left holds the fresh red heart of a hostile spirit to your mouth. Your three-string eye causes the three worlds to tremble. Bring peace to those of your fortunate children whose commitment is strong, considering them with profound loving kindness from the very depth of your heart. As we make offering to you, please become our patron deity. When we call upon you, please become our friend and companion. To our children, Lamb of Dharma, and to all here retinue, I pray and make offerings, intoning your empower, may all your wishes be fulfilled. In according with the command of Master of pure awareness of you, do not transgress your solemn oath and bond myself and Yogin. In any way whatsoever and perform my enlightening activity is for. More particularly may the teaching of the oral transmission of the Dikong lineage come to completely fair with the entire earth. The various order of monastic community kept their accepting ethical practice pure, and the lower of worth and patron and donor increase. Safely realize all the gods in their entirety. Powerful Lady or Maid who guards the victorious teachings. With your vow to protect excellent practitioner like your own children, Archie, children, and retinue to you I pray, to you I offer, please grant my every wish. So offering, visualization, meditate. Within the circle vessel of sphere of Dharmata, the entirety of all appearance of samsara and the nirvana lead or the Ganachara phase. With the Ram, Yang, and the Kam, scorch, scatter, and cleanse he. With all are and home, purify, increase, and transform. Ram, Yang, Kam, all are home. Thus in some past, scream this security offering. Ready myriad rays of the light of the five primordial wisdom. It is supremely endowed with the five desirable objects of the senses. In accordance with your samsara pledge, accept these offerings, please. Mahangana Sakta Punzakaye then partaking, following this reminder, attending example of serving burden ones and the messengers. Please enjoy this Dharma offering of the reminders. Clear away all discordant factors that obstruct common fulfillment and bring forth conviction and accomplish all that desire. Next, home. In the oneness of Buddhahood, the unwavering equal nature, the domain of appearance marked with the characteristic of any negativity is non-existent, but transcendent grasping to all dualistic distinctions, right? Delight fully in the offering of great equality, Mahapunjaho. Utterly savage, your wrath demeanor, where anything you means cannot bring about beneficial change. Such wrathful embodiment of Sugata manifests enlightenment acts. To the Vajra activity of gathering and dominating offer praise. May all Vajradhara knowledge holder of Dorje Yona accomplish Klaya of existing. May all the Vajrakilaya deity of appearing phenomena accomplish the promoter of wisdom Heruka. The appearance of duality without dissolving and free from fixation is realized in the equal of Dharma thought. The play of appearance and the concept of the six sources arise as the promoter of wisdom awareness empty. But this virtue and by all the excellent deeds of the past, present, and the future, may the stream of the beings perceive as space and grow to accomplish fruition, and through all being realize themselves as inseparable from the principal deity. May the mandala of self-appearance actualize. Oh, within the symbol appearance of constant activity of great glorious one Vajrakilaya, through enlightened compassion means all marvelous the spirit of the tricrines of existing attained. Within conceivable miraculous deeds aimed to turn in whatever ways needed. May the auspiciousness of Conqueror Vajrakilaya present. So 23 dedication, we do the Tibetan together. 23. No, dedication. No, 24. Sorry, 24. Dedication merit. Kewa in the zone, the zone, the Kacha Rove Jula Yomine. Kenja Reja Soda Yermi Bar. Rana Jingoro Mandan Jawarajo. Page 25. Home Barji Yonzo Jele Chekena. Dorje Tabje Zizon Do Bander. Bander Zebe Chondro Sameja. Jobde Dorje Shone Taji Jo. Taji Jo. Thank you, everyone. Finish today.
Che Guru Rinpoche.
Thank you, Kempa.
Thank you. Gracias.
Great teaching. Thank you.
Thank you, Kampala.
Obrigado. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Kempala.
Thank you, Kempa.
Thank you, Kempala.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Kempola, for this teaching. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay meditated.
Have a good day, everyone. Stay
Yes,
safe.
namaste.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Next
See you tomorrow.